Hello, I'm John. Welcome to my channel, Disquiet and Dragons. Something a bit different today. I'm in the Staffordshire Moorlands and I'm going to be talking about some folklore. As you can see, I haven't got my bookcase behind me today. I've got Blackmere or Blakemere, or commonly known by locals as the Mermaid Pool. Some people, or local folklore says that animals won't come to the pool to drink and birds won't fly over it, and legend has it that it's actually bottomless as well. But I'll just show you some more of the lake and I'll read what I've got. My book with me, Magical Britain, with lots of folklore tales. I'll read that as I show you the lake. A small lake lying in an isolated stretch of moorland between Buxton and Leek, Black or Blakemere is a lonely spot with an eerie reputation. According to legend, it was haunted by a mermaid, a female lake spirit who was ill-disposed towards people. The pool was thought to be bottomless, and it was said that no animals would drink the water and that no birds would fly over it. Over the centuries, many people have been found drowned in the lake, some reputedly lured to their deaths by the mermaid. In one tale, workmen came to dig a trench to drain the water, but the mermaid appeared to them and warned she would drown Leek town if her pool was disturbed. The terrified men abandoned their work, but traces of the unfinished trench still survive to this day. The lake is now commonly called Blakemere Pond, but to some it will always be the Mermaids Pool, so it is best not to stray too close to the water's edge. So that's the folklore tale of Blakemere Pool, or the Mermaids Pool, and it is eerily quiet up here. I haven't heard, we're in the middle of the moorlands in the countryside, so there should be loads of birds singing. Can't hear a single bird. And I just saw maybe a sparrowhawk or a kestrel or something. It was flying over there and it was flying towards me, and it veered off and wouldn't fly over this pool, so maybe that bit's true. I don't know. But I've got another folklore tale about this pool and I'll read it as I show you more video of the pool.
The Mermaid of Blackmere. There was once a man who went to sea and returned to live on the moors of Staffordshire. Many people bring back a trinket or two from their travels, a curiosity perhaps. Others find the love of their life, bringing them back to their home to meet family and friends. It could be said that this sailor found both, for he brought back with him a mermaid. Now many legends tell of how a mermaid's tail can be transformed into a pair of legs to enable her to move about freely in the land of humans. This was not true for this particular lady of the sea. Her fishy tail remained whether she was on land or in the water. The sailor then had to find somewhere for his love to stay, and having purchased a house in Morridge, brought her to Blackmere, a tarn not so far from where he lived. He would come down to the mere each day, and together the two would talk and laugh and even swim together. In the evenings they would look out across the landscape, which dropped away, bounding off into the hills and heathland, painted purple and pink by the setting sun. These were precious times they shared together, and with the company of her loved one the mermaid was able to tolerate the confines of the mere. She was of course used to the unending openness of the ocean, but as long as the sailor was with her each day, she was able to make the best of living in that dark pool off the side of a lonely road. However, such relationships between humans and immortals will always end in sadness. The time came when age caught up with the sailor and he died. The two lovers had allowed no one else in their relationship, as they felt they had all they needed in each other. But now, with no friends or family members, the mermaid realised how she was in fact trapped, destined to remain in Blackmere for the rest of her days, which would be many, many more. As each year passed, the mermaid became more and more frustrated. She finally cursed the day she had met that man who had brought her here. The sailor had certainly been a bit of a loner. All that time he had spent alone with his love, telling no one of his secret, meant that none of his precious few people who did venture up to the mere knew that a mermaid resided below in its dark waters. That is, until a farmer decided that he would drain the mere, so as to make better use of the land. He brought his men to the edge of the tarn to discuss how best to drain this useless body of water. Yet as they talked, the surface of the water began to bubble. Someone had been listening to their conversation, and she was not going to let them take away what little water she did have. These humans only considered themselves. She had decided, therefore, to give them something to truly think about. A wave of fury swooped through the water and crashed onto the shore, soaking the startled farmhands, and up from the mere arose one enraged mermaid. "How dare you even consider taking the one body of water I have to live in?" she hissed. Then she spat this curse at the farmer. "If you should drain this mere, know that the nearby dwelling of humans, the one you call Leak, will be drowned in the very water you take from this place. The people there will discover a new reason for its name before they die, and it will be your fault." The farmer and his men were so frightened by the irate mermaid that they ran back to the farm, pushing and shoving each other in their efforts to be as far from that seething creature as possible. None of them thought of draining that mere again. Yet it seems the fear of the watery maiden instilled was so strong that now no bird is ever seen resting on the water, and no animal will come near it to drink. The mermaid waits below the water, her rage growing with every passing year. The birds of the air and the creatures of the land sense her anger, and so avoid the water. They know that if they flutter down or draw too near, a wiry hand will reach out to pull them in and to their deaths.
So that's the Mermaid Pool, and even on a sunny day, it's a beautiful day today, and it does seem really eerie up here. But I think that's about as much as we can see for this little pool today. So off to the next place in my book. I've had to move away from the Mermaid Pool because a wild swimmer arrived and started swimming. So I don't think they would appreciate being on YouTube. So I thought I'd show you some more of the Staffordshire Moorlands. Absolutely beautiful up here. Absolutely love it. Brilliant. So I've just parked up and I'm off to see our next place, which is Lud's Church. It's in this beautiful river valley. I'll turn you around because it's absolutely stunning. It's absolutely beautiful here. We're in a place called the Roaches in the Staffordshire Moorlands, and it is absolutely beautiful. So we've just got to follow this road a bit, and then we go off-road through a wood, and then we should find Lud's Church. And when we get there, I'll talk to you a bit more about it. Well, this, I think it's meant to be spring water, but I'm not going to lie, I think I'd rather take my chances with the water in the Mermaids Pool. Yeah, I don't think I'll be drinking that. So we're on the public footpath to Lud's Church, and we're going alongside the River Dane. It is absolutely beautiful here. Just show you the river. And there's an old mill house just behind us. Absolutely stunning round here. Anyway, off to Lud's Church. So we're at a crossroads. Do we go downhill towards the river, or does it send us through the beautiful bluebell glade. No, it sends us up the massive hill. Right, I've just walked up a huge hill, and it's just beautiful up here. Don't think we're too far from Lids Church now, so onward we go. So this is Lids Church, and it's meant to be the place where Sir Gawain met the Green Knight for the first time in Arthurian legend. I have a story in my book back at home, and I'll read you that story in a minute.
Hidden in the earth itself, there is an unusual and entrancing feature known as Lids Church. It is a deep gorge naturally formed in the rocky hill, and has the appearance of a small maze with a collection of channels winding off from the main fissure, with one or two being interconnected. If you explore this feature yourself, you could easily believe any of the explanations of how it came to be called Lids Church. Although the word church is used a little generously here, in my opinion, I think temple or shrine might be better. It is said that on one occasion, when the Danes came through Mercia, they stumbled upon this collection of rocky trenches. It is, after all, found in the Dane Valley. The site seems to have been the perfect place for them to perform their religious practices, in readiness for their battles with the Saxons. The Vikings tortured and killed those they had captured from previous skirmishes here, sacrificing them to Thor. There are very similar tales told of Thor's stone at Thorsteston in Cheshire, which makes me wonder if British storytellers in the past just had it in for the Vikings. Maybe they wove tales about the Vikings' supposed gruesome goings-on to explain some otherwise charming natural features. In this negative vein then, some say that a man named Lud was the leader of those Vikings, the very same Lud who is buried in Ludlow in Shropshire. His name is given to this supposed site of worship in the Staffordshire Moorlands, Lids Church. It is claimed that a man called Lud was riding over the Roaches and was totally unaware of this gorge. It is quite hard to find if you don't know what you're looking for. His horse, however, quickly aware of the change in the landscape, and suddenly stopped. Lud went flying off the horse and fell through a stony gap. He crashed to the bottom dead, and his body lay there undiscovered. The horse was unable to say where he had gone, of course. Over the years, the moss in that place continued to grow and slowly claimed the body as its own, and so began a transformation as he was gradually incorporated into the stone itself. A petrified man whose name is now remembered by those who called the place Lids Church. Some say you can see him there still, if you look at the overhanging rocks closely enough, but there are many faces in the rocky walls of those trenches, and he could be any number of them. Maybe others have fallen in and so become one with the stone. That's why there are so many faces. Or do those faces refer to the other stories told of Lids Church? One particular tale tells of another band of worshippers who sought a place where they could meet without detection, the Lollards of Lids Church. Another suggests that this is the very place where Sir Gawain met the Green Knight.